Hello. So earlier today, my mom's comment was, do you think anyone actually listens to your blog? Because it gets really boring. Thanks, Mom. Now when we post the links on Facebook, we're going to have to block you from seeing those because I don't need the sarcastic comments, and if I want to talk about you, I would prefer you're not reading it. So, and she'll never figure out how to check it out on her own because she doesn't understand the concept of blogs. Okay, besides the fact that most of them, not really cutting edge, interesting. So yeah. Trying to think. Not much interesting happened today. Oh, I know what I was going to do was the whole sermon thing. And little thing, saw in the paper today, one woman's like, oh my gosh, you expect me to get the money from college for my parents, but I want to study abroad, and that's so unfair to expect them to pay for it. Okay, next question. Why is it fair to expect me to pay for it? Just something to think about. Try not to get into politics, but it's a little interesting. Okay. So, I wanted to, where's the notes? And mostly, and I'm going to email those and post them there, but mostly we live in a broken and fallen world. Bad stuff happens, and it's not always our specific fault. What are we learning? And ask God, what am I learning about you, about myself? Am I more like Jesus through this? How do you want me to respond? Choose to grow up. We always have an option to grow. And bad stuff happens. It's not always our specific fault. And the guy who is preaching, because our minister's father died, so she was off for the day. It's just saying about the guy that's blind from birth that Jesus heals, and the question is it his sin or his parents' sin, or just, kind of crappy to be born blind. And the one thing I talked about this was that sometimes it's not our specific fault, because I always have to know a reason. Okay, if this happened, so then what's this? What is I'm supposed to be learning from this? What did I do to cause this? What's next? What's else? What am I supposed to be learning through this? Why did I run into that person there? And I drive myself nuts. Really, I go in circles and circles. The one thing I can talk about that I did in circles, my best friend finally responded to me. Do you think I actually understand this? Because if I did, I would have shared it with you by now. And I just have to keep processing and going over the same thing over and over again. So the idea would be to let go and let God, which is probably easier said than done. Oh, I know it's easier said than done. But I think that's one thing to know is that God's not always trying to make me guess the reason he's doing this so that I can figure out the point at the end, that sometimes it's just to live through it, and just, I don't know, not try to go back and forth 10 years in either direction and try to figure out how I would accomplish it if I did something different. I think that's pretty much my response. I took some notes on my phone. So yes, if you're from church and I was doing that, I was not texting people during church. I was actually taking notes. So I want to put this on there and put the video and hopefully go, here's the sermon notes, here's my reaction. And maybe try to do that at the beginning of the week to have something, since today, nothing actually happened at work or on the drive home. So there's not much to talk about. So this is something.